till 1. Something for everyone here on 94.1. And it's my great pleasure to welcome back to the studio for the first time in 2014, as you've pointed out, to be Graham Elder from Neighbourhood Watch. Good morning, Graham.
Good morning, Peter, and good morning, listeners.
How are you?
Good, thanks. It's great to be here again.
It's lovely to see your smiling face.
I'll try to keep smiling. Thank you.
Would you please?
Yes. But these days I only get this opportunity to speak with you when the chairman of Neighbourhood Watch Whitehorse, Ray Summers, is out of town. And
Yes.
Ray and Chris are off travelling again this month, so here I am.
Here you are. Well, is he cruising this time?
Yes, I think he is.
Cruising?
I can't keep up.
No, he's a very busy cruiser.
Yes,
Is that
yes.
right?
Yes.
So what's happening in Neighbourhood Watch?
Well, there's a fair bit going on. As regular listeners would know, Peter, Neighbourhood Watch, the community-based crime prevention and safety program, and we aim to improve the quality of life within local neighbourhoods by minimising preventable crime and promoting closer community ties. And it's become more important, that promoting closer community ties. And I'll talk about that in a moment. And as you know, the traditional Neighbourhood Watch program relies heavily on the community and the police working together in a partnership to achieve those aims. But the thing that I wanted to talk about first this morning is that it's not just the police that we work with. Although the police are obviously the major partners with Neighbourhood Watch, we have other people that we are working with, and that's becoming more and more. For example, at the moment, Neighbourhood Watch Whitehorse is involved in a project with the SES, the State Emergency Service. They're running a pilot program to see how urban communities can be encouraged to become more resilient. Now, following the Bushfire Royal Commission, one of the recommendations was that communities needed to be more resilient. They needed to know what to do, they needed to be prepared, and they needed to be working together as a community to get through emergencies like bushfires and so on. And that works pretty well in the country or in rural areas because people there are much better organised, prepared and community-minded. And I think the bushfire threat makes that happen. We don't have the same bushfire threat here, but we do have to be prepared. We can still have emergencies. Floods, fire, mainly it'd be just a house fire there, but it's still an emergency.
Yeah, it is.
And you still have to be prepared as a community for the things that could happen. One thing that I'm reminded of a few years ago, and I wouldn't like to think how long ago it was now, what happened when our gas went out for all that time following Longford.
Oh, yes.
Now, there's an emergency, and suddenly people had to think, well, what am I going to do?
That's right. Where am I going to get a hot shower?
Do I know anybody who's got a hot shower?
That's right.
And this story of resilience, so that people are prepared for things like that. And the most common part of this resilience is knowing your neighbours. It happens in the country. So many people are members of the CFA. They're into all the community groups.
Yes, of course.
And you meet the same people all the time, and you are a community. However, in the city, it's not uncommon for residents not even to know their neighbours. You see the garage door go up, the car backs out, the door closes, and that's all you see of your neighbours.
Could be anybody.
Could be anybody in that house.
That's right.
So we are working with SES to see if we can find what does work to bring in community resilience and what doesn't work. There are certainly lots of communities that are together with regular barbecues in the street and things like that, and knowing each other's phone numbers and so on, but there are also a lot where people don't know their neighbours.
That's true.
So that's one of the things we're going to be working with. We don't have to live in each other's pockets. We don't want to. But in the case of an emergency, whether it be a storm, a flood, a fire, it is important to help our neighbours. So we're working on that with SES. Whilst on the topic of neighbours, The last Sunday in March is designated as Neighbour Day. In fact, throughout the Neighbourhood Watch family, March is Neighbour Month.
Neighbour Month. Good
So
idea.
I'm focusing on neighbours today. Neighbour Day is Australia's annual celebration of community, bringing together the people next door, across the street, or if you're in a rural area, on the next farm. Maybe for a beer, maybe a barbie, or just for a cuppa. But knock on the door of the people next door, particularly if they're elderly or living alone.
Yes.
And just say, "Are you okay? Here's my phone number. If you need anything, give me a call." So the principal aims of Neighbour Day, and it's been going in Australia for many years now, and in fact, Neighbour Day has now gone international.
Has it
for
really?
a few years now? It's been going in many countries, and the founder of Neighbour Day has actually spoken at the United Nations. So it's becoming quite
That's
a thing.
wonderful. Yes.
But the ideas are to strengthen communities and build better relationships with the people who live around us. Neighbourhood Watch helps with that too. Create safer, healthier and more vibrant suburbs and towns. Promote tolerance, respect and understanding. Break down community barriers and protect the elderly, the vulnerable and the disadvantaged. So they're all very worthwhile aims, and they fit in pretty well with what Neighbourhood Watch is trying to do. So on Sunday 30th of March, and of course at other times during the year, but especially on Sunday 30th March, residents are encouraged to make a special effort to introduce yourself to other residents in the street, especially the older ones, and anyone who lives alone. But leave your phone number in case of an emergency.
Good idea.
And agree to keep in contact.
Yes.
So that's Neighbour Day, and that's at the end of the month. Whilst I'm at it, I can even link in my next topic with the neighbour theme, and that's the latest news on the Whitehorse Community Support Register, which I've spoken about briefly a couple of times here, but it's now a reality. It's
well
up
done.
and going. And after a long period of getting organised, making sure the computer system was operating properly and training the volunteers, we started live in early February, and we now have volunteers working at the Box Hill Police Station from 10 a.m. till midday every weekday. And I'm sure that given the choice, most people would prefer to stay at home and live at home rather than go into a nursing home or care or so on. But only if it's possible. And at home you can better maintain your independence, you can have more control over your medical health care, and you can continue to be involved in your community. Registers have been going in many areas under various names since the early 1990s, and they play a part in supporting people who choose to stay in their own home by providing reassurance and well-being checks. So it's a very worthwhile service. And we now have one in Whitehorse. And the motto that we have on our banner and our brochure is feel safe, feel secure, have peace of mind. So what is the Community Register? And I'll just very briefly recap on what it is. It's a confidential register of personal details, and we include the next of kin and emergency contacts, together with relevant medical risks and other conditions, and the information can be accessed by the police 24 hours a day in the case of an emergency, and if needed they can pass it on to the ambulance, the hospital and fire services.
Excellent.
So it's up and running, and it's going to help people who are older, have a disability or are isolated for any reason to feel more secure, and to give them more confidence to live on their own in their own home if that's what they choose to do. Now there's also a register operating in Burundara. There are a couple in various parts of Monash and out in Maroondah. So there are a few others around, but this one is specifically for residents in Whitehorse. Registration is completely voluntary and there is no charge. So it's being run by a group of volunteers and with the support of the police. It's kept at the police station, and the volunteers go into the police station to work on the register. So a couple of the objectives of it is that, as I said before, it increases the registrant's sense of security in their own home, provides a database for local police if they're called to a house because someone hasn't been seen for a while. They can check if that person's on the register, they've got all their details. And it helps to maintain and establish, if there isn't already one, a trusting relationship between the local police and vulnerable community members. We've got a terrific crime prevention officer here in the city of Whitehorse, leading Senior Constable Beck Millen, and Beck visits a lot of these people to show that the police are there to care, and if they are in trouble, that the police can help them. Another thing that we'll be doing once we get a bit further down the track is we'll be providing relevant information to the people on the register via a newsletter. So if you want to find out more about it, you can give us a call on 8892 3385. That's 8892 3385 between 10 and 12 Monday to Friday. Or you can email at communityregister, that's one word, communityregister@gmail.com if you have any questions or would like to get further information. And also, if your local probus or other community group would like us to come out and give a presentation, just contact us again on 8892 3385 or the email at communityregister@gmail.com.
It is a very worthwhile project, Graham. Must be very satisfying to you that it is up and running. You're spending some time later this morning, actually, as a volunteer.
Yes, I've got to run from here across the road, and I'll be there. So if anyone wants to find out more about it, give me a ring after 10 o'clock, and I'll be there.
And what's the uptake been like so far? Are you pleased with the result?
Certainly, we're pleased with the result. I mean, the first very pleasing result was the number of volunteers that came forward and said, I want to be part of it.
Okay.
It's even to the stage where we have more volunteers than we can readily use, which is a bit, there's a bit of a disappointment in that, because you'd want to, when people want to help, you want to give them something to do. But
yes, of course.
Unfortunately, there are only a certain number of desks and chairs and computers.
Yes.
And we're taking over the office of the police proactive unit now. There are more of us than there are police over there on a weekday morning, so we're taking over. It's
also reassuring that the volunteers are sufficiently interested that they want to be involved. I think that's a great indication.
It's terrific.
Isn't it?
We are being a little bit guarded in opening it up completely. We want to make sure that we can cope. We've got about 60 people on the register already, and in going through some of the registers that have been going for a while in some of the other suburbs, some of them only have a couple of hundred on there. So we expect to be inundated as we push this out further. We're going out to doctors' surgeries and chemists and so on, and putting pamphlets out. And the main promotion at the moment is via the home and community care services at City of Whitehorse. So all the Meals on Wheels customers have received brochures and application forms, and as the home and community care assessment teams go out, they'll be handing out the information too. And we ask that if anyone knows someone who would benefit from being on this register, as I said, there's no charge and it's completely voluntary, but if you know someone elderly or living alone or disabled that would benefit from being on the register, give us a yell and we'll send out the necessary forms.
That really is a very innovative program, and it's interesting you say it's been running for some time in other areas. I must say I'd never seen any evidence of it anywhere. I guess it's one of those things that bubbles along under the surface, and it just occurs to me that you may want to talk to the Royal District Nursing Service too about getting the word out for you as well. You've already done that, obviously.
Yes, Royal District Nursing Service is certainly on the list.
Oh, that's good.
And they are one of the greatest supporters of people who want to stay at home.
Yes, yeah, they are indeed.
it's certainly, so council and the RDNS are great, the police, and now we've got this register so we know who they are and where they are if there's any problem. And most importantly, we know who to contact if there is an issue.
That's the important thing, isn't it? Yeah, wonderful. And that telephone number again, 8892 3385, between 10 and noon Monday to Friday, or email communityregister, all one word, at gmail.com. And at 15 minutes to 10 o'clock, Graham, and knowing that you have to rush off, is there anything else that you would like to mention this morning about Neighbourhood Watch?
Just a couple of very quick ones. The Neighbourhood Watch Whitehorse e-News, I've got to continue to put in the commercial for that. The award-winning Neighbourhood Watch Whitehorse e-News.
Was that the one with my picture in it?
No, fortunately we won the award before that one was published. But
thank you very much.
Sorry about that. So to subscribe to this, and it contains a lot of information on safety, security, crime prevention, just articles of general interest
it is good
to the community. Simply send your email address to whitehorse@nhw.com.au and request the Whitehorse e-News. Now, one of the articles in there each month is regarding the crime trends and or incidents and trends which we receive from the police each week. And I just wanted to mention a good news story there that was received last week, and it shows how the public can really help the police. A very observant member of the public assisted the police in making a significant arrest last week when they reported a male acting suspiciously in a supermarket car park in Vermont South.
Mm-hmm.
The offender was arrested for a series of armed robberies that had occurred at supermarkets throughout the area.
Well done.
So one of the persistent messages from Neighbourhood Watch, report suspicious behaviour. And there's further proof that it works.
It works.
So the police say that if you see anything, call 000. Let them know. They always tell us that they'd rather have a false alarm than miss something like that. And there is a message there, and it's in the Whitehorse e-News this month. One of the problems is the theft of items from building premises or where there are new homes. It's not a new thing,
no,
but they're saying if you see anything suspicious, if you see people wandering around building sites at night, you see them backing their car into a building site, especially if the number plates are covered.
Yes.
You see doors, windows, hot water services and so on coming out, ring 000 immediately.
Ring 000, yes.
So I think that's about it. I'd better go across the road to the police station, and as I said, if anyone is interested in more information or getting some forms for the Whitehorse Community Support Register, give me a ring in
a few minutes. That's terrific. Just get yourself a cup of coffee in the meantime, Graham, won't you?
I'll try.
Graham Elder from Neighbourhood Watch, thank you so much. Lovely to see you again. Will you be in next month?
I don't think so. No, I don't think Ray can be away 2 months in a row.
No, that'd be asking too much, wouldn't it? Thank you so much, and we'll talk again soon, I'm sure.
Thank you, Peter.
Good on you, mate. Thank you.